there's been a lot of outpouring since these two awful decisions. But what do you think I, as your mayor, should be working on these fronts? What are some general issues, specific ideas? I'm just trolling for ideas and suggestions at this point.
So these brothers right here were arrested, and they've been our independent media. Mm-hmm. And so they wanted to talk to you about what they feel about that. Yeah. Not any ideas or anything like that unless they have them. But I think the floor is theirs.
Good.
So I guess my personal concern was sort of the specific engagements that happened with riot police, where they seem to, where there would be moments of confrontation, things would sometimes de-escalate on their own, but then they would show up when people were already disengaged or about to go home or leaving the streets, and then show up and use excessive force when things were pretty much already done, which doesn't seem to really make any sense other than that people called in and complained, and they have to justify something. They have to make some arrests. They have to show some degree of force, because if they don't, then it looks like there's not an appropriate response. But what they deem appropriate response, or appropriate response, or what the city's deeming an appropriate response, is getting people hurt. You know, these marches that are going out there, people are blocking traffic, that's true, but nobody's trying to do anything violent. I mean, maybe one or two people. There was one person that had an altercation with a motorist, but by and large, our organization is not condoning violence, not condoning any property destruction, but cops are showing up and beating people, throwing concussion grenades at people. Like, that's the kind of stuff you do if someone's actually burning down a building or smashing windows all over the place, not for just blocking traffic. It's not appropriate.
Do you have some, I don't know, like some specific instances of when you feel like things weren't? Because there have been a lot of protests.
Sure. Well, so I was arrested with several other people. We were ordered off the sidewalk into the street, and then kettled and arrested. So it was, when I asked what I was arrested for, along with everybody else, I was told for being in the street. And I said, well, I was obeying the order to go into the street from being on the sidewalk. So that kind of indiscriminate policing of a crowd, and just essentially kettling everyone, whether you were a bystander, observer, media, it's just like there's no real distinction.
So there were definitely some confusing. I heard there were some confusing orders, and a lot of people were confused.
The orders weren't confusing at all. The orders were very clear. Everyone obeyed. Everyone that didn't really want to go, they were shoved with batons into the street. They had no choice.
Now, were you at the demonstration on Saturday?
Yes.
How did you think that went? Was there any noticeable difference?
The difference between
how the night where you got arrested was and Saturday was?
So you're talking.
The night you got arrested?
That is the night I was arrested.
This past Saturday.
No, I'm talking about this past
Saturday.
Oh, right. So that was definitely. Yeah, that was definitely different. Where we were, it was the middle of the day, which that does make a little bit of difference just in everyone's mind. And I think the crowd was big enough that they weren't going to do anything like that. But yeah, was definitely a difference as far as the engagement with officers. But again, it's kind of like at the time that they kettled everyone and made arrests, it was the end of the night. People were wrapping it up. It was mostly just kids doing, a sit-in or die-in. Like the least confrontational thing of the whole night was when the police chose to crack down on everyone. And maybe that's just, the easiest time for them to do it, and that's the whole point. I don't know. But it definitely sends a message that there's not a lot of thought put into it.
And that not even the most nonviolent aspect.
So those are my specific concerns.
Yeah,
I don't want to take up too much time.
I appreciate that.
I didn't catch this gentleman's name.
His first name is
Eric.
Eric, yeah.
Did you already go to court, or were you going to have to go to court, or do you know?
We all were arraigned on the same day, and the charges were put into a no complaint status, so they're not dismissed for 6 months. But it seemed like there was just not any evidence to pursue them.
Okay, good. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah,
Hey there, Mr. Mayor. I'd like you to put on your police commissioner hat, because I'd like to address you as police commissioner. My name is Mike Bluehair. I mean, if you want to find my right and legal name, you can check out PDX mugshots. Let's see. I have two issues. First, I want to tell you that I've been observing your police professionally for 2 years. I've documented over 400 police encounters from start to finish. Those are just the ones I've uploaded. I've probably done about 700 or 800 so far, all in Central Precinct. I can tell you that Sergeant Strohmeyer and a few other officers should be used as an example for use of force policy through the nation. Those officers in Central, good.
Okay, good.
A good example. Okay, like some of these guys and girls in Central Precinct are doing very well. You know, I don't know if it's the fact that we're constantly filming them every weekend or what, but seriously, you guys should.
Good to hear.
Yeah. On the flip side of that, the way your officers are dealing with protests, I find disturbing. Okay. I want to describe 2 incidents that happened. I wasn't taken into custody on the 29th. I was arrested. According to Oregon state law, if a police officer tells you you're under arrest and you walk away, they slap eluding charges on you. They'll throw felonies on you. So when your officers that are under your command surrounded 300 or so people and told us, they gave us contradictory orders. Okay, everybody get off the sidewalk, everybody get off the road. You know, everybody on the sidewalk and the road's arrested. There was no dispersal order given, 2 contradictory orders given. Okay, we were all told we were under arrest, and then your officers selectively chose 10 people out of the crowd to take into custody. But we were all under arrest. Okay, a criminal offense was committed on that night. Okay, it's U.S. Code Title 18, subsection 241. It's called conspiracy against rights. If 2 or more persons conspire to injure, oppress, threaten, or intimidate any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, or possession, or district, in the free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege secured to him by the Constitution or the laws of the United States, or because of him having enjoyed such exercise of such rights. Where did I lost a line here. Oh, here. Oh, okay. They shall be fined under this title or in prison not more than 10 years or both. So basically what we had here is your officers surrounded us, didn't give us a dispersal order, put us under arrest, used fear and coercion of being taken into custody to shut down our protests. That's a criminal offense. It's a felony. Okay? I don't really expect much to come of this, but please, I would encourage you to Google Title 18, subsection 241. I mean, this is a very serious thing. Okay, yeah, our freedom of expression was denied to us, and I feel it was in fear, intimidation, and coercion was used to make us go home. This was during the most peaceful part of that night. We were doing a die-in. We all just sat down in the street. Before a dispersal order was given, they just said we're all under arrest. And that is, it's disturbing. Also, I want to talk about the flashbang grenades. Okay, in front of Macy's that same night, about 40 minutes before the mass arrest, because we were all arrested, okay, at least 300 of us, okay, you have 2 lines. You have a line of protesters like this in the street in front of Macy's. You have another line like this of your police and riot gear. There's Bob, who's sitting right there, and 3 people that are closest to the police, and then everybody else is further away. Your officers did give an order to not follow the officers. They were making a strategic withdrawal. The people didn't listen. Yes, I observed people throwing some plastic water bottles at your police and riot gear. I don't think they're going to break a nail on plastic water bottles. Okay, 3, not what was covered by the mainstream media, but 3 flashbang grenades were thrown inches away from people's feet. I've uploaded the training videos for these by the manufacturer of these weapons. These things are used to disorient and stun people before they're shot. Okay, these things are dangerous. If they go off right beside people's feet, people could have been seriously hurt. Okay, they throw the flashbangs at the 4 people that are closest to them, not at the main body of the crowd. Then they wait exactly 15 seconds. Now they're stunned, blind, disoriented people. These weapons are designed to disorient people. Okay, your officers, the entire line of officers in riot gear, charge the crowd. You're talking women, children screaming. I'm not kidding. I watched people tripping over themselves. I feel that was in reckless endangerment of everyone's life there. Okay, Bob was one of those people that was selected out of that mass kettle about 40 minutes later. Commissioner Hells. Okay, he was taken to the hospital for disorientation. Bob's not in the greatest of health. If he would have died, Title 18, subsection 241 would still apply. If someone's death occurred during the denial of their rights, your officers would have been, could be prosecuted for murder, okay? According to our laws, you know? I mean, it's written in really plain English, and I find it very disturbing and very upsetting. Please look at this law. Please talk to your officers.
I'm sorry, I was just gonna ask him if he can go ahead and you guys can exchange information so that he can follow up with you directly, because you know we have to make sure that all the leadership gets an opportunity.
Okay, I'll set
We
up.
still have,
No, this is good, John. Appreciate
I got it. Yeah.
And Mike, would you be willing to provide them with those videos of officers who actually did do
We don't know. That's another thing.
No, the one who you said would be national models. Because if they...
Sure, started. Yeah, later. Like, time. Just one quickly. What Film the Police Portland wants, we want you to publish the use of force policy Portland Police Bureau has to use with these flashbang grenades.
Okay.
If you don't have a use for a force policy, please make one.
Okay.
And we want to know the officers' names who threw them.
Okay, well, we'll see if we can find that out.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
my other two brothers that's done meeting, did you have anything you wanted to say to him, or did Mike cover everything? Because I want to go ahead and get the next group in.
Well,
Be within our
I wanted
time.
to say something.
Well, go ahead.
I thought it was really bad that that the flashbang grenades came. The police, most of the police know that I'm media. I work with blue-haired Mike on Film the Police Portland, so they know I'm media. And my understanding, I haven't had a chance to review the tape. The other people that were there had cameras too. So if they were alternative media or media, you don't. The other thing is that there was there was me and Keith that both sat there and said, we were media, can the media go through? And the officer said no. And then me and Keith later on was arrested.
Yeah, they didn't even acknowledge us, and also Hart over here is a member of the media too. He writes for the Rebel Metropolis, and he was critical of the Darren Wilson police. And you know, I appeared the Wednesday before I was arrested and was down at City Hall talking about the heavy-handed approach by the officers previously, and also the Darren Wilson police. And then, you know, I was taken to jail, and Officer Storm, he was actually one of the guys who drove us to jail. One thing too, me and Mike and Bob here, we were on an interview with Captain Ray Lewis. He's the Occupy Wall Street cop, and he was talking about, you know, the picture of the cop who was hugging Devon, and he said that was some of the most despicable police propaganda he's seen in a long time. And another thing,
freelance photographer who shot that, so
Yeah.
it wasn't, police bureau didn't shoot that photo.
but another thing is that Officer Barnum, he was later seen in the night running into protesters with his motorcycle on the Morrison Street Bridge. And
That
he's
video
also,
can be found online.
and he's also one of the officers that put like next to the I am Darren Wilson posting. So, you know, that's
Yeah, he personally apologized to me for that.
The next
I was
group
gonna
comes in.
ask if
And
you
you don't
could-
have to leave the lobby.
if you could issue
Come on,
press badges for me and Mike Blue
Give his
there
contact information.
and Bob,
Give his
who are
contact
who are
information.
members of the media, and also Hart, you know,
Yeah, I
'cause
wrote that down, David, about media policy, how do we identify people, how do we
Because
give
bloggers
media
are
proper
media now. This is
consideration
in the
to
world.
that? That's a good question.
Amen, Teresa. Amen.
Absolutely.
We
Y'all
need
got
some
80,000
sort of
views in one night. I mean,
Right.
We have to respect that.
Oh, you saw that, huh?
Absolutely. I'm a numbers girl.
because, members of the media like Hart and Mike Blue Hair and Bob and me should not be
Your screen is not
targeted,
on,
and
right?
you know, we should be allowed to none of us.
Unless we break
None
the
of
law,
us were
you know.
engaged in any illegal activities whatsoever, other than.
If I break the law, I expect your officers to arrest me. I mean, I don't want any special privileges.
We gotta have a discussion about media credentials and policy creation. And
I would like to have that, yeah.
what other people are doing around
So
the
you
nation
guys
with
know
their
that they're only
credentials.
giving us an hour today, so let's go ahead.
Hey guys, let's bounce out of here and let's go down.
We got 20 minutes.
And I was on the sidewalk.
Get his business card.
Thank you, sir.
They told us to get into the street. I got into the street and I was arrested.
Are you guys gonna follow up with these people?
Yeah, they're not, he's writing.
I'm taking out.
You guys want to just really appreciate
I
that.
understand,
There
I'm
is
saying, make
probably
sure
people
that
out
you
there
know
that really
Oh,
want
I
to
was-
talk to them, so I don't know if there's
Can I
that's
get your business
possible or
card,
not, but
Well,
Yeah.
this is Teresa's coordinating.
I understand.
She's trying to get
Just trying to convey that.
out.
Yeah, appreciate that.
I want to answer your question. Sergeant Strohmeyer is doing a very, very wonderful job with his
Yeah,
officer.
that's good to hear.
Thank you.
We like to praise the good as well as the
I do. If you look at my YouTube channel, I do both. I do both sides of it. I try to.
Appreciate that.
I have a bias, but I do try to be fair. Can I get your business card, sir? And please try to get to me. Look up that law,
Yeah, right.
Title 18. You did?
Write it down. Title 18, section 241.
Thank you.
Right, and I'm arrested. I know, but you're not a person